Hi, I'm Rob, and today we're in Chawton at the Greyfriar Inn. And we've got an interesting walk today. We're taking a bit of literary history, an old railway line, old churches, and much more. And there's my friend with the open reach van again. So, from the 16th century Greyfriar pub, built around the time of the Spanish Armada indeed. Over the road we have Jane Austen's house, about which she wrote this poem. Our Chawton home, how much we find already in it of our mind, and how convinced that when complete it will all other houses beat, that ever have been made or mended, with rooms concise or rooms distended. And that's from her poem, My Dearest Frank, I Wish You Joy. And that was written on the 26th of July 1809. And to all those literary snobs out there that think poems shouldn't rhyme, that's Jane Austen. Think on. So Jane Austen spent the last 8 years of her life here, and she wrote a lot of her well-known works here. Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice, Mansfield Park, amongst others. She moved into the house in 1809. And she left in 1817 to go to Winchester, where she was ill. Unfortunately, she died aged of 41 of Addison's disease, or possibly TB. And so from the house we walk back to the sign, and we take a left down towards Chawton House and the church. Now, this house was inherited by Jane Austen's brother Edward Austen. He had to change his name to Knight, however, because it was a distant relative that had died and left it to him, and they wanted the name of the family to continue, so the inheritance was on the condition that he changed his name to Edward Austen Edward Austen Knight. Get it right, Rob. It also included the cottage that Jane Austen lived in up the road as part of the deal, and he allowed his mother Cassandra and his sister Cassandra and his other sister Jane to live in the cottage rent-free really for the rest of their lives. So here we are at St Nicholas Church. It's on the grounds of Chawton House. It's a 13th century church, and it's the burial place for Jane Austen's mother and her sister, who both are confusingly called Cassandra. So let's go on a grave hunt and have a look. So we found the graves. They're at the back of the church next to the sanctuary, and this one is Cassandra Elizabeth Austen, and that is Jane Austen's sister, and she died in March 1845. And then next door is the mother, Cassandra Austen, no middle name, who died January 1827. So once again in an old church we have yew trees, and anyone that's watched any of my videos will know that yew trees were revered by the Christians for their symbolisation of death and rebirth, because these dipping branches here, when they touch the ground, they can reroot and make further trees, so it's like you get new life from old. So let's see if we can have a look inside. Strange you couldn't find the grave of Edward Knight. So this is the inside of a 13th century church for anybody who's not actually seen one. Wonderful vaulted ceilings. Thou art the King of glory, O Christ. Lovely stained glass. And that's a wonderful church organ. And don't forget to put a donation in for the upkeep when you visit these places. A few pence makes all the difference. So we leave the Chawton House grounds and St Nicholas Church, head back up the drive to continue our walk left-handed out of the gate. End of the drive and turn left. And this was the old A32 many years ago, before the new road. So we get to the end of this disused part of the A32, it's turned into a car park and all sorts. And ignoring the steps to the right, which take you up on the tremendously noisy main road, that's the main A32 from Farringdon to Alton, we take this track into the bushes, and this will take us alongside the road but sheltered by the bushes and the noise. A really nice bracket fungus on this tree. If I'm not mistaken, it's Shaggy foliota, Latin name Foliota squarosa. So we emerge from the trees to a gate and a rugged footpath sign there, seen better days. Which will take us off diagonally across the field. So we've got a cow trough, and I tried to demonstrate what I learned in Scouts on another walk video, but there was a big rusty bolt in the top so you couldn't get into the workings. But if you've got your drinks bottle and you're thirsty on a walk and you come across a cow trough and the little lid is open or even missing, as in this one, all you've got to do, put your drinks bottle under the little spout, push down the ball top. Nice fresh water for your drinks bottle. That's a tip from scouting. So we're striking off across the field, a nice, well-defined path. Morning! So, first style of the day coming up. So, through the woods, lovely defined path as it comes out alongside another field. Coming towards the next set of woods. Morning! So there's a live farm here, manor farm, so get your dogs on the leads and head into the woods. Oh, lovely and shady. Got a warm day today. Just wondering if that's the Hog's Back in the far distance. Answer on the postcard, please. So lots of yews lining this track, so it's a very ancient track. Probably going back again to Neolithic times. So at the end of the track you've reached the village of Farringdon. So at the end of the track, options, there's a little sign for Writer's Way that points to the left, so we go to the left. It seems very similar to the path on my map. And underneath this building here there are staddle stones. The staddle stones basically are there to foil any attempts of rats of getting into barns and eating the grain. It just stops them crawling up, allegedly. So after the staddle stone barn we go right. So this is Farringdon. Not quite sure what this great big building is. Very impressive. But here we've got the parish church of All Saints in Farringdon. This is the most ancient of ancient yews I've seen. Look at it, it's hanging, it's falling apart, it's held up by sticks. Let's have a closer look. Well, I'm absolutely right, this is the most ancient yew I've ever seen. It is now over 2,000 years old. That tree is as old as Christ basically. That is something to think about, isn't it? So it's 13th century, and I would say, apart from maybe the erection of the porch, which looks a bit maybe 18th or 19th century, and maybe the extension on the back, it's pretty much original. Let's take a look inside. The door looks as old as the yew. A lot simpler than the church at Chawton. And it's not attached to any kind of manor house. This is very much a parish church. Lovely in its simplicity. Again, lovely old church organ. The beach. Anyway, come out of the churchyard and we're going to turn right to almost double back on ourselves and walk through the village of Farringdon. So a typical Hampshire village, or North Hampshire village. Very much untouched by the hand of time. Well, I'm going to have a look and see what this building is. And then perhaps I'll put a caption up when I edit the film, but it does look very, very grand. Well, there's a kind of answer. This is known as Massey's Folly, and it was designed and built by the Reverend T.H. Massey. 1850 something or other to 1919. No idea, it's probably got no function whatsoever if it's a folly. I'll Google it and I'll put some captions up. So carry on down the road. Whatever Massey's Folly was, they're doing some building work around it to turn it into something it wasn't. I don't know what. If I see someone, I'll ask. Now, this is a thatched cottage lover's dream, this walk. You've seen more more styles of thatch and lycra clad cyclists than you can shake a stick at today. So we've entered a close called Farringdon Close, and at the old phone box, which now houses a defibrillator, we do a left up this track. So at the end of the track we come back to where we were. We've done a little loop round to the church, back up through the village. If you remember correctly, we came down that hill from the woods. We're going to do a left take us down the lane towards the old railway line. Right, so we come down the track and we come out across the A32. There's Farringdon Cottage in front of us, and there's a path over here into the woods that we must take. So that's where we've come from, across the other side of the road. So you cross the road and slightly to the right. If you focus on the old grain silo there, then just to the left, that's where the path heads through into the woods, and we're going to follow. So the path soon comes to these dodgy steps. So be very careful coming down the steps. Count you downwards, want to tip you forward and roll you down the hill. And there's an old oil tank up there, all overgrown with ivy. And behind the grain silo. And just continue to follow the path along. So it comes out to a long overgrown field, and you go down this overgrown path. Take some dock leaves on your way, because there's plenty of stingers out to nab your legs, and I'm in those shorts again. So here we go. I believe this is the old railway. Yeah, there's a railway bridge up there, look. And take a closer look at that. So going southbound down the line towards Farringdon, there's a big bank of earth under the bridge. That's obviously private property. I think the other side of that bridge is the old Farringdon halt. It's a shame you can't walk the whole line, but hey ho, I know there's tunnels that are boarded up too. I think I'll sort of detract and go back up onto the road, which by the looks of it you could have walked down and then down these steps to get there rather than all the stinger laden path, but hey ho. And we'll have a look and see what's over the other side of the bridge, what's left of the railway. So there we go, there's the course of the line, and it's a yard for portaloos. Every time I go on a walk it reduces to toilets and things like that, doesn't it? But anyway, down there somewhere where that yard is would have been Farringdon Halt. And as I say, the line southbound from here at least is impassable until you get to sort of West Meon or somewhere. But looking northbound out towards Alton, where it has its junction with the main lines that run down to the Watercress line or off to London or the Basingstoke and Alton Light Railway, it's clean and green for a walk. So, as I said before on other walks, this is the Meon Valley Railway, and it ran from Fareham to Alton, as I said up on the bridge a minute ago. It was completed in 1903, and it ran passengers until 1955. Then Dr. Beeching came along, and he axed the branch line. It limped on until 1968 with a bit of freight, but then it closed forever, rails ripped up, and most of it is a hiking and cycling track now. Bits like this one, which is a footpath only, going from Farringdon to Alton, and that's it really, the end of the railway day. So surprisingly short time, a lot of effort to build a railway, and wasn't used for a great deal of time, which is a shame these days with the cars and things on the road. It would have been a good way to travel. Hey ho, on with the walk. Afternoon. Afternoon. interestingly, alongside the line, I think this is the pipeline that runs all the way from Folly, the oil refinery, to Gatwick, supplying all the aviation fuel. Now I'm coming up on a barn right next to the old track bed. Track, obviously a farm track that crosses over. There's any railway remnants left, any posts or such things. Fence in there. Able to see. Some guard level crossing things. And no. Nice big long bridle way though. This way and that. We carry on up the railway. Answers on a postcard, please. Never seen that before. AA public footpath route. Normally just these old finger posts. Look at this, the railway bridge. Mark Cooper, you're loving this, aren't you? Boop boop. Much better view of it from this side, not so overgrown. Oh, that's quite weird, that is, for a railway walk. This is your archetypal railway walk with trees either side, and we appear to be coming out into an open field. Interesting. Out into the middle of the field. You would never ever guess that this would have been a railway. Amazing. So that's literally the end of the line. It would have carried on through there and under the roundabout into Alton, into a junction and side-ins, but no more farm fields. And the path comes off of the line now to take us back over the A32, back into Chawton. Oh, I wonder what's netted off in there. Rare plants maybe? I don't know. Very mysterious. Doesn't look anything too rare in there to me, but I'm no expert. Anyway, onwards. So here we go. You can tell by the noise we're back to the noisy old A32. Through this kissing gate, and that's why the steps are there, the other side then. So, through here, down the steps, and up the other side. And up the steps this side. And over the stile. Nice old tractor and lovely little hen run. All happily feeding away or having a drink even. Lovely birds. Right, so we've come off the path, past the lovely chickens, and it brings us out on this lovely little close of council houses. They are absolutely gorgeous. Loads of land, fairly biggish houses. Nice, I like it. So we come out of fairly close, and it's back the way we came, if you remember, all the way back to the Greyfriar. Very nice, interesting walk. Highlight of that for me was that 2,000-year-old yew. Couldn't get over the age of that. I don't know, it's like school pickup time as well. So Cassandra's village shop doing a healthy trade. And almost back to the pub. Here we are, back at the Greyfriar again, and that was a pretty successful walk. We had a bit of interest on the Jane Austen front, found the graves in the church, stunning 2,000-year-old yew tree in the other church, and yeah, it was great, about 4.5 miles. As I say, it's a finger in the wind, that one, but it's 4.5 miles by my calculation nonetheless, and I hope you join me on the next one. If you like the walk, then please like and subscribe.